$200, and we were able to work some magic. And so basically, what we were able to, we haven't signed any contracts or anything, but this is because we want to determine this tonight as a board. We were able to get the Hotel Indigo, which is the same place where we held our BIDA retreat several weeks back. And they offered us the room for a very reasonable rate of $150 and for the event, and a dinner, buffet style meal for 40 people. And of course, the awards themselves were $450, I think, before taxes, but that's what I have on the invoice. And we were able to actually come under the amount of $2,200. We were able to beat it by about $56. Now, this budget that we have did not include the live streaming of the event because we realized that we could still hold a meeting and it didn't have to be live streamed, but we would have to publish the meeting and let it be known that we are having this event. Rather, I should say, we had to publish the event because there will be a quorum of members and possibly even a quorum, I guess, of city council, but definitely a quorum of the BIDA board. So this is kind of, let me see. Oh, I wanted to show you also a picture of what happened to the trophy. This is what the award that we were looking at would look like. And again, we were able to get 6 of these awards for approximately $450, which was awesome. And so that's just wanted everybody to kind of see a picture of the award itself that would be given to the different businesses. And finally, the event itself would be Thursday, December 9th, from 7 to about 8:30. There would be a reception, just a kind of a gathering of people at the beginning, followed by a meal and a short awards program. And within the short awards program, we would have a docu video, which would be produced for each awardee. And we did get a chance to speak with Mr. Gerald Walker, and him and his staff are going to work with us to make sure that we do get these videos, these short videos filmed for the different business owners, awardees. So just wanted to kind of share that update with everyone and just entertain any questions that you may have, or if there's any adjustments you'd like to make to what the committee has worked on.
Madam Chair, I'm a little, I thought when we left last month that the conversation, I think Councilman Allen had put out that we would sort of work in conjunction with Light Up College Park to try to keep costs down. And I understand and I appreciate the work of the committee. I really do. This money is coming out of the general fund. This money is not money that's been budgeted, to my understanding, for an event such as this. And times are really tough. And I appreciate the committee's work on this and everything that they've done. I think our goal is to celebrate the businesses in College Park, and it is a great goal. And I'm hoping that no matter what, we do that. Beyond the awards, I'm a little concerned about spending money for an actual event because of the fact that we have some budgetary concerns just overall as a city. I don't know what my colleague Councilman Clay thinks about it, and I don't know if he wanted to talk about it at all. But I mean, I do think that in light of some of the numbers that we've looked at, how the first quarter is going, that we should be really, really tight on money, because there are lots of things that we are communicating to our employees on a daily basis that we cannot do. We simply cannot do it because we do not have the budget. So I'm supportive of acknowledging them, doing the videos, getting the information out there. An actual event I have some reservations about given our budgetary concerns.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. At the last meeting, I'm gonna let Demetrius respond as well. At the last meeting, your concern that you voiced was what the budget was. And your suggestion was that a budget be set. And that is exactly what our executive director did. And he can explain how he arrived at that budget. So as a committee, we were under the impression that as long as we stuck within the budget that was given to us, that there would be liberty to do whatever needed to be done. And my response to you, I understand things are tight in College Park, but I will tell you, as a member of this community, we spend money on the things that we think are important to spend money. And I will not begin to name the things that finances have been spent on in this city that not all of our community would consider to be things that are absolutely necessary. However, a great deal of the revenue that this city receives comes through the business community in the city of College Park. And if we can't find it within ourselves to do something that is, which my vice chair would say, separate, and not just something that's tagged on. That was a great idea that Councilman Allen suggested. However, when the committee met, we started looking about value. How do we value these business owners? How do we show, that they are significant? And again, like I said, financially speaking, a good question to ask would be how much tax revenue do we receive from the different businesses in College Park? And once we answer that question, is what percentage is $2,200 of that money? But anyway, I want to turn this over to my vice chair. I know he was getting ready to say something.
Well, here is where I would like us to consider some things, because it has been brought to our attention that everything that BIDA does, we have to budget in because it's not budgeted for. Everything that we do. This particular venture, we have been on this for a few months now. And at our last meeting, the consensus was that we were to look into using monies that we had not used before. We were going to look at what that budget was versus how we could be able to do it. And to successfully put on a presentation for our businesses that wasn't going to be as elaborate, and things. And I think that we were able to accomplish that. The idea of the lighting of the trees and things to connect that with, it was wonderful at the time. But when we have represented this and reworked this or whatever, it came to us and to our attention that we did not want anything to lessen the importance of our businesses. Okay. And with all due respect, Mayor, I hear what you're saying as far as budgets and stuff are concerned, but at the same time, without our businesses, we had new businesses that started with all of this COVID and carrying on. So it's the businesses that are the heartbeat of us. In the middle of everything that we're experiencing, they were the ones who bought business licenses and things in the midst of our financial woes. For us to just do a token of something to appreciate them that would give some kind of grandeur, to highlight the parklets that we've done, to highlight all the other new businesses that have come in. I think this here would give us good favor as far as the city and the business industrial authority board. I think it would give us good favor, a good look, a good light, to say, hey, we appreciate you for keeping us thriving. And then to know that we were able to do this under budget and significantly cut, because we thought that we actually proposed double what we were able to do it for in the initial beginning. and to come up under it with the help of, again, businesses who are saying, hey, we want to root for you. The Indigo being a hotel itself and experiencing these same woes, they were able to say, yes, this is a good idea. So we have the businesses in favor of wanting to help us out. So I think that this is something that all of us need to really, let's look at this and retool it. Let's look at it and let's be practical about it, because just like the citizens, the businesses are, if the citizens are the veins, the businesses are the heartbeat of what it is that we're doing here in College Park. And without them, a lot of what we have, our luxuries, honey, we would not have, because COVID has sucked it up. So we need to go out on a limb somewhere to make sure that they are acknowledged in some kind of way that will give them a little bit more prestige, and to know that we're not just seeing them as dollars and cents, that we actually see them as a value to the community.
I absolutely wholeheartedly agree, Mr. Vice Chair, that our businesses are the heartbeat of our community. They really are. And as we contemplate, I mean, even since our last meeting, we've had the opportunity to see our first quarter numbers, and they weren't great. And we have, Councilman Clay even said in our last council meeting that he thought that we may have to entertain a lot of things on the table, including and not limited to a tax increase. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to our businesses. And so I think that it behooves us to be good fiscal stewards while making sure that we are uplifting and celebrating the businesses within our city. This event that's been planned, like I said, I appreciate the fact that there has been so much detail and there has been so much diligence by the entire committee. My concern is, I think it's capped at 40 people. We can't even get all the new businesses in there anyway. So how, if we are looking to maximize our reach and ensure that our businesses have that maximum exposure, how do we do that with the least impact to our budget? Because as I said, this budget actually was adopted for fiscal year 22, meaning it started in July, and this wasn't contemplated. So if it doesn't come out of the line items that are there, that will come out of the general fund. And I certainly don't want our businesses paying for it on the other end, even though it sounds like a small amount. It is something that as we move forward, that we have to be cognizant of. And that's all. And I am absolutely, whatever the board decides is what the board decides. Just wanted to put my 2 cents out there, and I appreciate you listening.
Any other board members that want to weigh in on this? Because I don't want this to seem as though it's just a committee. There's a number of us here, and everybody's voice is important. So.
This is Anita, and I can't see anybody, so I feel a little bit self-conscious. I know you can see me, but I just wanted to say that I think there is still some room for compromise here. I think that at the very least, we need to award our recipients with something tangible. The award looks great and it's relatively inexpensive. I think that crowding an already full agenda of the Christmas tree lighting and setting this aside during what would have been a regular board meeting time anyway makes more sense. It really spotlights the businesses. I think that the filming of these businesses, doing a brief vignette and posting that so that everybody can see it is great press, so to speak, for the businesses and for BIDA. I'm not sure that the meal itself and the in-person celebration, to me, that may be expendable and cut the budget. But I don't think that we can go below giving a tangible award, doing it in a special ceremony, and having something that is press worthy, that highlights and spotlights these businesses. That's their marketing, and it's the very least we can do.
I agree, Dr. Cadis.
I concur as well. However, when I had mentioned about the spotlighting and the marketing segment at the last meeting, I wasn't aware that there was a budget opportunity. And as I think about things, these businesses have been through an truly, excruciating year. And when we really think about what kept City of College Park afloat during COVID were these small to mid-sized businesses. And I think the community did very well coming together to keep these small businesses going. They kept the city going during such, and still, these trying times. And so I do think having that ability to spotlight their business as well as their impact within the community, but also looking at what they've been through the past year and looking at the grand overall vision and how they really partnered with the city to maintain, the city activities and keep the city going with the least that they could do. And the ones that were able to survive and thrive through the pandemic, it speaks volumes. So I do think that, Madam Chairperson, you did a great job as far as scaling down and working within that budget that you've given. And I do think that if we do have a in-person reception, you've scaled it back to enough where I think that maybe we can highlight those businesses that are being awarded and let them know that as a city collectively, we appreciate what you did and how you have thrived through this pandemic. Now, I will say that in the future, if it was possible, we can think more of mitigating these costs by having the opportunity to maybe have a taste of City of College Park, where we have the community come together and purchase tickets, and these businesses highlight their services and products, or, but at least it'd be a community effort of mitigating some of those costs and constraints to the city. But I do understand the budget constraints. But given the fact that what these businesses have survived through, I think that it would benefit us in the long run to really acknowledge them in person with a small gesture to let them know that we appreciate their services.
One additional item for clarification. When the budget was actually developed for FY22 that we're in right now, for the annual awards banquet, the budget was zero because we knew that we were going to lose a great deal of money due to COVID because the taxes wasn't coming in from the hotel motel tax, rental car money wasn't coming in, and basically everything was at a standstill in the city. So the only thing that was budgeted for as far as for BIDA, as far as our meetings, was roughly about $1,000 per meeting, $12,000 for the year. On a monthly basis, our expenses for the meeting is running around $800 to $875. You can average it off to $850. So when it was requested, if we had a budget, what money might be available, I looked at the savings for 6 months for the BIDA meetings, which is from July 1 of 2021 up until December, came up with basically $950, $150 savings each month. And then for the meeting for December, which $1,000 was set aside for that particular month, roughly $850 because I counted that $150 also. It came up to right at about $1,900 that was available. And I kind of splurged and said, okay, $2,200 might be an amount because I feel that in the future, January, February, March, April, May, June, that we would probably continue to save a minimum of $150 per month. That's how I came up with that budget. So that this is not an event that is actually budgeted for, but because we were doing so bad, and when I say we, I'm not talking about BIDA, but as the city was doing so bad, all the departments are rolling up their sleeves to save as much money as possible, because you can only tell your subordinates that they can't get a raise for so long before they end up moving on, or you can only tell them to do the job of two people when they're only one person for so long before they are fatigued and stressed. So I was just trying to save. I have saved a great deal in all of our budgets, but the road in the future, the near future, I feel is going to be really, really rough for the next year to 3 years. And I just wanted to put that 2 cents out there. I feel that the business community is very, very, very important to us, but I feel that the people within those businesses make up the business in our community. So they're also equally important, and we should, acknowledge them and do what we can to be as thrifty as possible. I think this event is it's a great event in College Park. All the other communities I've ever worked in as an economic development director and a development authority director they have never had an event like this in it. So I was very surprised, but it's something that I feel is needed. One thing that we may want to consider in the future, especially if we're doing an event like this, even better than maybe doing a taste of College Park, which is a great idea, Ms. Jefferson, is maybe just getting some sponsorships from individuals. If you get, 4 or 5 sponsorships of $500, then this event is taken care of, if we had a $2,500 budget. But of course, we're in the 11th hour now. So, I'm not sure of what can be done in a short period of time. But I just wanted to put that out there for the board so that everybody understands that this is not budgeted, but this is money that was saved because we know what's coming in the near future. And I'm quite sure that Mercedes can speak to it now that she's acting city manager. She sees all the wheels turning, around the city versus just, the arena and the Georgia International Convention Center.
Right. May I ask a question?
Certainly.
Madam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was planning to be a pure observer, but I had an idea as we were talking about various things. It's somewhat similar to what Artie said, but it is the 11th hour. And I'm probably not going to be terribly popular for saying this, but what if a sponsorship came from someone like the Main Street Association? And I'm not maybe talking about the full amount. Renee, I don't know whether Renee is on or not. I don't think I saw her. Oh yeah, she is in the corner. I'm sure that won't maybe be appreciated. I don't know, but the Main Street Association is doing a terrific job. They are made up of the businesses, and in a way, it's a backdoor for the businesses to honor the businesses. I'll throw that out.
If I may chime in, the Main Street Board is actually working on a Christmas event for all of the business owners right now. So the Main Street Board will be having an event, an affair for the owners of all of the businesses in the program district. We just secured a location today, and I will be working on that this week. So I don't know, I can't speak for the board and their finances, but I don't know how receptive they would be to being a sponsor at this time, because I know we're getting ready to put some money into the event that we're planning for the businesses.
Well, what about combining them?
Well, again, Councilman Clay, the Main Street Board is Main Street, and this award ceremony is for all the businesses in College Park.
And I was
it could be combined, but I've actually talked to Julian about this, but we were just looking at the Main Street doing their event. separately.
Well, we have another business organization in the city. It's not sponsored by College Park per se, but College Park supports it to a great extent. That's the Old National Merchants Association. What if between the Main Street Association and the Old National Merchants Association, they were to get together and maybe, I'll throw one more thing in to complicate things that I had thought of, was have it the night of the tree lighting, have it as a separate event prior to the tree lighting, and you could still present the awards at the tree lighting, or you present them in advance and the businesses bring them to the tree lighting. The tree lighting is not just for Main Street, it's for the whole city. I mean, Light Up College Park is for the whole city. So it might be a way of bringing the Main Street Association and the Old National Merchants Association together in some form of collaboration. I realize it's very different from anything we thought about or done before. I realize I can't speak for the Main Street Association board any more than Renee can, probably a lot less than Renee can. But it was a way that I thought of. And I suspect, had we known sooner, that we have enough people in the community that probably would contribute, as Artie was suggesting, to doing something on a shoestring, because that's what we're doing. We're talking about doing it on a shoestring for all the reasons that everybody has brought up. That's all I have to say.
I got a question.
Okay, Councilman Taylor.
I think what you guys are talking about is a great idea. I understand the budget, and it wasn't budgeted in, but we didn't budget in when the people came from the golf tournament and gave us $5,000 for BIDA property. We have other events that probably be using for BIDA, and where did that money go? It's definitely not budgeted into 2020's budget, and we got like $5,000 for the other one. Use that money. That's what I think. You know, every other month is something, a BIDA property being used. If it's for, somebody shooting a movie, they're doing different things. It's enough for that money that BIDA done got throughout this year to put the little money you guys are talking about. I think so.
I can
see. Okay, Artie.
Well, the thing about all those events, whenever BIDA property is used for anything, that money goes straight to the general fund. And the thing is that BIDA owes $12 million somewhere.
I think it's 13.
Yeah. So even though the property we may not be meeting our, I guess, budget goals for sale of property. We are any money that we get goes straight to the general fund to in that particular line item. So I'm just letting you know that's where the money goes. It's not coming to BIDA. It's going directly to the general fund.
I understand.
And I do understand. Go ahead, Councilman Taylor. Yes, sir.
No, what I'm saying, I definitely understand that. But what I'm saying, when we was talking about the budget, it was money budgeted for whatever line item you want to talk about. Of course, BIDA owes you $12 million, however you want to look at it. But it was no way of us knowing that we were going to get $5,000 for that land. It was no way of knowing you was going to get that. So it was not budgeted for that. If we're talking about budgeting, what I'm saying is, if it's $5,000 that we didn't know that was going to go, and the big thing is you're going to take the money out of the general fund, it went to the general fund when they paid the $5,000. It's the same thing. It's one seat of College Park. You can split it up how you want to split it up. If College Park lights go out, we all in the dark. So my thing is, take the money that BIDA already got this year and pay. You talk about half of what you got in one project of one weekend, and you don't got other money throughout the year. It been other things that BIDA probably been used for. That's all I'm saying.
And
may I have an opportunity to add?
I want to say something first, Mayor. And I want to comment on what Mr. Taylor was saying. I do hear what you're saying, Mr. Taylor. And I guess what I don't understand is how this debt that BIDA owes always pops up when there's something that BIDA may want to utilize some funds for. It's my understanding that the BIDA debt is really not debt. So And if we were always to look at $1 million or $2 million or $12 million that BIDA owes, then there would never be any money allocated in the budget for BIDA at all. So any money that comes and is used for a BIDA project is coming from somewhere. Because BIDA, we basically don't, like Councilman Taylor said, if somebody uses our property, the money goes to the city. So it's not like BIDA has any money anyway. But there is money that comes in the name of BIDA. But Madam Mayor, would you like to say something?
I was just, thank you, Madam Chair. I was just going to add that BIDA's also got line items in anticipation of land sales this year that up until this point, I think we're a little bit behind on that as well, looking at our first quarter numbers. So it's all part of a bigger picture. As I said earlier, I agree with Dr. Kaitis that having a physical opportunity to celebrate our businesses is a great idea. Is it possible for us to perhaps use the auditorium during the light up ceremony for this?
Okay, I will respond on that. All righty. At this point, we are in the 11th hour. Okay. We sent out nominations. Sabretha sent out nomination ballots to all the BIDA board members around about October 20th, between October 20th and 24th. We only got 3.5 nomination forms for these business back. Okay. So that's the problem to me. Okay, so we're dragging behind. We're not even in place to do anything on November 29th. So the November 29th date is basically an impossibility. We just ordered the awards. The awards will take about 2 to 3 weeks to get in. We won't even have an award to give a business on November 29th. So in terms of trying to do something in conjunction with the Light Up the Tree, we have been discussing this project now for 5 months. The committee started meeting 3 months ago. We had a meeting a month ago about this. We were given a budget 3 weeks ago for this. And now in this meeting, we're being told that there's no money when we were given a budget. So I'm totally confused. I understand and I feel for what the city of College Park is going through. But I have 2 words to say: goodwill. Sometimes we have to do some things out of goodwill. It can't always be based on what the budget looks like. When you sow into a business, when you show appreciation, appreciation always comes back. When we give, we always receive back. So if we want to just hold on to the pennies we have and pick and choose, because this is what this city has been doing, picking and choosing the projects that we want to spend money on. Because like I won't get into that right now because I'm just going to hold my peace. But I can name several things that money has been spent on in the last 3 months in this city that were projects to me that are almost irrelevant. So here is something where we are awarding some of the lifeline that makes this city what it is. And, we're talking about increasing taxes and the possibility of increasing taxes. Well, you know what? I wouldn't mind paying more taxes in a city that I felt cared about me, represented me, and cared about the businesses. So, when you start talking about increasing taxes, can we increase value? But if we decrease value and we increase taxes, then where do we stand? So the words that I have for this is all about goodwill. This is about paying it forward. This is about letting these businesses know as much as we possibly can. And they're listening to us right now. Some of us, this video will be shared throughout the community. What do we want them to hear from the BIDA board? Do we want them to hear that because we're picking and choosing, or because we only have a couple of dollars, we're just trying to figure out how we can fit them in on the side? Or do we want the word to go forth into the community that we made some sacrifices in order to let people know, let the lifelines of our community know? Because not only do these businesses. It's the people. I already said it's the people, but there's people in these businesses as well. And I'll still, like I said, I still can't forget what happened last year. And the reason why this has been like my soapbox project since February of this year is that I had a business owner almost tell me in just aggravated, agitated, and almost in tears about how offended they were by what BIDA did last year. And in my heart at that moment, it was just like, you know what? We can't do that again in 2021. We've got to let these businesses know that we care. We're not going to spend $1 gazillion. We have decreased our budget 97% for this event. We've gone from spending $70,000 to $2,200. Now, can we do this for less than $2,200? Yeah, we can do it for less than $2,200. Do we have to serve a full course meal? No, we don't have to serve a full course meal. But should we have some type of separate event for these businesses to recognize them, whether it's in the College Park auditorium, but even then, you want to decorate it, you want it to look nice. We're talking about a hotel that's a business in the community that has already reduced their rate. They've chopped the rate for the room in half for us because they want us to be there. So that's my 15 cents. Of course, I'm a team player, but I do believe that every team player should give 100%. So I'm sharing 100% of where I stand in this. And but whatever way the board decides that we want to go on this, I will cheerlead it all the way to the end. But I want the record to reflect that I think that we are making a big thing over something that we shouldn't be making a big thing over. I think this should just be this should have been a simple decision, and that it shouldn't even be something that we're worrying about spending $2,200. Does anyone else on the board have anything else you want to say?
Would it be proper to call for a motion at this point? Or I think we should move to some decision.
Okay.
And
Anita, would you like to, is there somebody that would like to, well, I guess the motion, what would that motion be? Are we motioning, I guess I can suggest a motion and see if somebody will carry it. If it will carry, somebody will move it. That we move forward, if we get someone to motion that we would move forward with this project as it has been formulated by the committee. We can also address the issue of if we want to spend less money on food, that's fine. But in terms of holding the event on December 9th at the location, Hotel Indigo, for these businesses, that would be an in-person event that we would spend up to $2,200.
So moved.
Second. Okay. Those in favor say aye. And I actually need to see your hands. Okay, Salissa.
Aye.
Demetrius. Okay. The mayor did not vote. All right. So that would be those against it. That's you, Mayor.
I abstain.
You abstain. Okay. All right. So the ayes have it. The motion carries. We will hold this event on December 9th at Hotel Indigo, and we will not spend a penny over $2,200 doing it. So the other point that we wanted to mention to the board is that Sabritha has sent the nomination forms for the nominees that we received. We're asking that each of you would respond by tomorrow morning with your votes.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I have not sent them yet. But
you haven't sent it.
After the meeting.
Okay, so after the meetings, Sabritha, I guess I sent you an email, say go ahead with it, and I hadn't checked my email again. So Sabritha will be sending the ballot form for you to vote And we're asking you to vote for one business in each category and get that back to us as soon as possible. Because as I said before, the time constraints. There's one thing that we're waiting on, the awards, but the other piece is that a video has to be made for each of these businesses once we realize who the awardees are. So we do need you to get your ballots back by the end of the day tomorrow so that we can proceed with this and start letting the businesses know. Are there any questions regarding the nominations and the ballots? Okay, so at this time, we're going to move on to our GICC update.
Good evening. For the month of October, the Georgia International Convention Center hosted Chick-fil-A. It was their regional planning meeting, and they were with us for the whole month, and they have signed a contract, so they will be back in 22 as well. So it was great to have guaranteed business for the entire month. And over at the Gateway Arena, we hosted the College Park Skyhawk, Scrimmage, and Brunch. Are there any questions? Thank you.
No questions. Thank you, Denise. You know that I just love the GICC staff, and I want to thank you again for everything you do. And we're just happy to have the Skyhawks back playing. And I just want to tell anybody, if you have the opportunity to go to a game, please, check them out. It's a wonderful team, and their involvement in the community is phenomenal. So thank you again, Denise, for all that you do.
Thank you all.
Okay. Item number 6 are our economic development reports.
Good evening again, everyone. I'm Renee Coker. The report for Maine and Virginia Avenue Business District. For the month of October, there were 3 new businesses, and we had one that changed ownership, and then one that changed name. SunTrust Bank is now Truist Bank officially. So those were the changes for the month of October. And then also for the month of October, we held a groundbreaking for the ION project, which is the Methodist Church project. We were able to tour the facility where there will be some housing units and a few retail spaces. And they had virtual reality where you could actually see what one of the living spaces would look like. And it was pretty amazing. So it was a great turnout and a great event. We also held our ribbon cutting for the Main Street mural. We had a very large turnout for that. This was an awesome project and a community service project. And so I was just very pleased that the turnout that we had. We even had staff from the Park and Fly business in attendance as well, because they were very pleased with the partnership for the project. So this was a great community effort. On this next slide, just a reminder about our very first holiday tree trail. We sold 25 trees, which is a great undertaking for a first-time event. Our committee has a meeting next week, and we will lay out the plan for where the trees will be located. And then decorating of those trees will begin on November 21st. Parties will have through the 24th to get their trees decorated, and we will be ready to go for light up on the 29th, which is at 6 p.m. And on the next slide, at the last council meeting, it was approved for CPMSA to also hold a warm up and wine event in conjunction with all the happenings for that evening. So we have been selling holiday mugs that we had created with the CPMSA logo and some Christmas trees on them. And the board will be selling a warmed cider for the adults only. And then the recreation department will have hot chocolate. And we will also have a non-spiced cider as well as an option for attendees. And then also as another favoring, we will be allowing anyone that brings a wine glass from any of the past wine strolls to the event that night, they will get a complimentary pour of wine. So we will have different pairings of wine as well. So people can get their warm drink and walk around and view the trees and the holiday lightings that we will all celebrate together on that night. For our business spotlight this month, I wanted to highlight Paper Plane Yoga. The studio is located on Harvard Avenue, and not only do they have yoga classes, it is also an art gallery where he has some pretty exclusive paintings that come through there, and does a great sales with some of the art that comes through there. So I would advise people to go by and check it out. It's not just for yoga classes. He loves to show off the art that he has in the gallery as well. And it's also a great event venue space if anybody's looking for a venue space. On the next slide, I'm just reminding everyone that November 27th is Small Business Saturday. I'm working with the businesses right now to get all of their promotions together, and that information will be going out in the next few days so people will know where to start their shopping on this year. And just remember to shop small and dine small. And my last slide is just a reminder of a couple of upcoming things. Our CPMSA board meeting, we decided on yesterday that we will not hold a board meeting in December, but we're collectively going to go out and celebrate as a board. We will be having a luncheon for the board, and so that the date and time will be the same. The date is the same. The time will change. I think we chose noon, and the location is to be determined. Mayor and council may be invited to that as well, and as well as Artie. And then again, Small Business Saturday, and then the trail and the warm up and wine events. And that is the end of my report, if there are no questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Renee? Thank you, Renee. You got a bunch of stuff going on. And I tell you one thing, Main Street Merchants Association is going to make sure that College Park stays jolly and merry through this holiday season with all this drinking in the streets. So, but it's awesome. Thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Our next is Tasha next.
Yes.
Okay.
So
hey, Tasha.
This month we had 7 businesses new to the Old National and Southside Corridor. Within the month of October, we also had 4 businesses that were not included within the month of September that I just wanted to acknowledge. On the next slide, I wanted to also really just thank my staff. This month, we accomplished the first code compliance cleanup, and I want to show you the picture to the left was a sensor box that we spent a good hour cleaning up. And if we go to the next slide, I just really want to acknowledge my team, the code compliance officers who took the time to clean up and to address the Old National Corridor. During that time, we had several residents come by, and just one of the comments was that you have to start somewhere. And we see that our start has really created a passion in seeing that College Park cares, as well as code compliance cares about the aesthetics and the enforcement in the city. Up next, I just want to acknowledge that we have the upcoming Atlanta Aerotropolis CID, and feel free to join their meetings as available every second Thursday of the month. On the next slide, I wanted to bring attention to the board that we are working on parking improvements for the residential and commercial districts within the city. The first one, which I call my area of attention now, is Walker Avenue. As far as code compliance or community development, economic development, Main Street, police department, along with public works, this couldn't have been done without public works, is to restripe, and as far as to create really parking districts within that residential corridor. As far as for the Walker Avenue, the plan is to allow parking on the east end of Reed Street. And then as far as to allow only residential only, as far as within Walker Avenue. And that has solidified with the assistance of PD. Next slide. And then also, I just wanted to provide some updates as far as for the grants that have recently been submitted. As far as for the Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Award that we recently applied for Finding the Flint project, we were not able to receive that grant, but we were encouraged to apply for the next round. I did also apply for the IEDC Equitable Economic Development Playbook Initiative. That will close out at the end of this month, and I will have an update to see if that was received. But we also partner with the Conservation Fund to apply for funds as well with the State Recovery Grant. I was advised, though, that we did not receive the funds for the Finding the Flint portion of that, but we will be continuing to request funding as opportunities present itself. Are there any questions regarding the South Side?
Tasha.
If not, thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Tasha. Thank you. Just a lot of work, a lot of hard work you've been putting in, and just want to still commend you on the grant that we didn't get, and just thank you for continuing to keep it moving. Just really appreciate you. Okay, Artie, we're ready for you.
Okay. Want to remind everyone, the BIDA board members and the city council people, that the groundbreaking ceremony for the collaborative firm's new building. This is property that the city disposed of to the collaborative firm so that they can build bricks and mortar location for their headquarters right here in the city of College Park. That's going to be on Wednesday, November 17th at 2:00 p.m. It'll be at 1884 John Wesley Avenue. That property is the property off of John Wesley and College Street behind the Corner Grill. Also, recently I've been able to execute the purchase and sales agreement with 2020 Main Street LLC. If you don't remember, that particular group is the group that's going to be building the new convenience store, gas station, and restaurant where the old Enterprise was located. It's going to be a deal where College Park BIDA is purchasing from MARTA, and BIDA will be simultaneously selling to 2020 Main Street LLC. MARTA, I'm still waiting to hear from MARTA on them actually fully executing the contract. Madam Chair has already signed the contract, and we're just waiting to get it back from MARTA, but things really don't move that fast when you move up the food chain and you work with a big organization like MARTA. I'm pleased to report that we're going to have about 883 new power meters to be installed in 2022. In talking with the power department, what I'm even more pleased to say is that 345 of those 883 new units, power units, are going to go in new buildings, and it's going to be over on the south side on West Fayetteville Road and Godby Road. Usually on an annual basis, we may have in the neighborhood of about 20 to 30 maybe structures that are built brand new, and that's kind of on the high side since I've been in the city of College Park. This is the first time we've ever broken 100 units of new. This is the first time we've ever broken over 30 new units of new residential developments on the south side of College Park. So things are looking up. I believe that to strengthen the chain, you have to strengthen the weakest link. And, the south side of College Park has been economically underperforming for such a very long time. And I'm pleased to that we are having, new multifamily and owner-occupied homes that are being built on College Park south side. Tasha Hall Garrison is to be commended, as this is her area of focus. And that's the reason that we have a satellite location for her on the south side, so she can wake up every day and give it immediate attention on a daily basis. It's hard for us to address a part of town where our office is not located, where we don't drive on a regular basis, where we don't go to the restaurants, and where we don't talk to the business people. The strategic planning retreat brief has been completed. I have it here in my office. What I will be doing, if you are interested in receiving a hard copy of it, please email me and I will print you a hard copy and have it available at the front desk at City Hall. I'm also going to be sending out electronic copies to everyone. If I don't hear from you by noon tomorrow, I will send it out to you electronically. But it is a synopsis, a summary of our entire retreat, our first retreat that I'm aware of that the Business and Industrial Development Authority has ever had. It identifies some of our next steps, and during the next meeting, by the meeting, we can identify kind of exactly where we want to go from this point forward and continue to build upon it. And the road street construction, I'll be going before the City Council at the next City Council meeting to request authorization that we might move forward with the construction of Road Street, which is the north-south major corridor of the 6 West development. The construction of this particular thoroughfare will provide 6 West with, number one, credibility. It'll become a very, very real project. Number two, it's really going to open up the door to sell property all along Road Street. It's going to really make development along Road Street very attractive, both on the north and the south side of Camp Creek at the Road Street Airport. I forget the name of the street now. My mind's going blank. But it'll make that property even more attractive for businesses to come in. And it will definitely put the City of College Park trajectory in the right direction as far as the 6 West development. Are there any questions from the board at this time? All right, thanks for your time.
Artie, I just want to, again, I'm full of compliments today because this may be our last meeting for the year in terms of in this forum. I just want to thank you and your entire economic development team for all your hard work this year. Made a lot of awesome things happen, and you guys are some of the busiest people that I've ever met. But I just want you to know that we truly, I think I can speak on behalf of the entire board. We appreciate you, we appreciate your leadership, and we appreciate your team. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. We thank the board for their support also, even though we may not always see eye to eye, or we may not always have everything the right way. We appreciate your support, and it takes all of us. It takes a village. It takes all of us going out saying positive things, doing the right thing, and we look forward to a prosperous 2022.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we are going to, I guess we're going to take a motion to come out of this session, the general session, and to go into executive session.
So moved.
All right, someone second that?
Second.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Madam Chair, point of order.
Aye.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
point of order. The reason for executive session has to be stated.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry about that. All righty, so at this time, we're going to move into executive session to discuss property today. And so therefore, the motion is for us to come out of general session into executive session to discuss the purchase of properties. Okay, now we take a motion. Okay, thank you. And thank you very much, Ms. Jefferson. And those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right. Okay. Awesome. Hang on with us.
Good night.